Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hey guys, we're your hosts, M and J, and today we're covering issue 15 of Captain Marvel 2019. This comic continues the Evil Carol arc. We're not quite done yet, but we're getting there. Although this book really isn't doing Carol any favors. She's just basically the puppet for the real bad guy of the story, Vox Supreme. Even though this arc was marketed as Carol turning evil on her own, I initially thought it would build off of the previous arc, where she managed to gain the public's favor. It might have been interesting to see how the public would react to her turning evil and seemingly betraying their trust, but that wasn't the case at all. They haven't bothered to show us anything about public opinion, even though that was a major part of the previous arc. So when you look at the series as a whole, it feels disjointed. Maybe they'll bring it up later down the line, but I'm not really counting on it. I do like this cover. It's a dynamic shot, and I think it does a good job reflecting what's going on in the book. Plus the anatomy and coloring are really good too. Honestly, the cover is probably the best part of this book. The comic opens where the previous one left off. Carol was surprised by She-Hulk after she defeated Black Panther, in a kind of ridiculous way, but whatever. She laments that she had been able to prepare for the other Avengers, but she doesn't have that chance with Jen. I really don't like this portrayal of Jen. She says ridiculous things like Hulk hate bright ouchy light. It's so demeaning and embarrassing, like she's a child. She really deserves better than this. They have this big 2-page spread fight. I personally don't care for panels that are an equal size to each other. I just don't think they're the most visually interesting. And comics are a visual medium. While they're fighting, Carol figures out that the bombs are actually in the Kree refugees, instead of being planted in the camps. I'm not sure how he pulled that, or why she figured that out now specifically. I'm surprised she can concentrate while being pummeled by She-Hulk, but I guess she's figuring things out. She-Hulk tears off her helmet. I wonder if she'd be strong enough to free Carol from the suit. She's shocked to see that it's Carol, which gives Carol an opening to attack her. She decides to try a move she's never tried before, which she believes would kill a normal person, and she's not even sure that it won't kill a Hulk. She's just taking her chances and risking Jen's life in the process. She absorbs the electricity from Jen's nervous system. Yeah, I can see how that would kill a person. That's really messed up, but I guess it's not surprising coming from Carol. So Carol drags an unconscious Black Panther and She-Hulk through space en route to Singularity, but she comes across the remains of Tony's Iron Man suit, the one she destroyed while fighting him. She collects them before disappearing inside of Singularity's pocket dimension. I don't understand why Carol isn't utilizing Singularity more. She's a major asset to her in this fight, but for some reason she's just leaving her floating there in space, only using her as storage. It's a real missed opportunity. Inside, Thor tends to She-Hulk. She did survive, but is left in a weakened state. But she recognized Singularity, so it seems that she doesn't have brain damage, which is good. Tony is rummaging through the parts that Carol brought him, disappointed that she didn't just bring him a full Iron Man suit, but she says it would have been too risky, and she probably does have a point there. But maybe if Singularity would go to his mansion and get the suit, instead of just floating uselessly in space, Vox wouldn't notice then. Regardless, she explains her theory to Tony about how the Kree refugees are the bombs themselves. She doesn't really have any proof of this. She just noticed there were 9 points on his monitors and there are 9 refugee camps in America. I'm not entirely sure if that logic is sound, but knowing this book, she's probably right. Anyway, she tells Tony to start brainstorming and wish her luck, basically leaving everything to him while she goes out and continues to collect her bounty, and playing into Vox's hand. Our hero, everybody. So she delivers the cloned bodies to Vox Supreme. He actually does question why all the Avengers she's brought him have been naked. They also have a gratuitous shot of Black Panther in there, a mighty king reduced to this. She claims that he asked for the Avengers and not their tech, so she refuses to give it to him, which I guess is a good enough excuse, although it doesn't explain why they aren't at least wearing underwear, but it seems to be good enough for Vox. She dismisses herself, saying she still has a lot to do, and not much time left to do it. Yeah, especially considering the fact that she still doesn't have a plan to stop him, which is weird considering the fact that she's supposed to be an experienced military warrior. She's a fighter pilot, and supposedly a strong leader, yet she hasn't used any of her skills aside from raw power, and has tried to push everything else onto Tony. Why isn't she strategizing? Why aren't they utilizing her past? and playing off her strengths as a character. This has been a major problem for Captain Marvel's character. This isn't how an experienced military leader should be acting. The only thing she has been strategizing about is how to kill her friends. This is also weird. Carol flies off while she calculates how she's gonna deal with Captain America. She thinks about how Captain America wouldn't want to hurt her, and that he'd try to talk things out, and say that there was a better way. And she knows he's not wrong, so why not try to figure out a better way, instead of putting all of that on Tony? Cap's already waiting for her, because he figured out he's probably next, since she's running out of Avengers. He wants to know what's going on, but she says she can't tell him. He asks if it really is her, and she says it is. And he asks if this is the way it has to be, and she says she hasn't figured out a better way yet. So Cap yields to her. He says that he trusts her, and if she says this is how it has to be, then he'll go along with it. But how trustworthy is Carol? After everything she pulled in Civil War II, she really hasn't gotten better at planning since then. She decided to confront Minerva and Star when she knew she was not at 100%, even though she had clearly better options available to her. She's unfortunately not the best strategist. She's a superhero and she's in the military. You'd think her skills would be better than this, but Captain America makes his choice, so she knocks him out, and thinks about how she's gonna knock Vox into another galaxy when this is over. Back in Singularity, Carol promises all the shawarma and drinks if they can figure out how to get out of this nightmare. Carol, this is your book. You're the main character. Didn't anyone working on this book consider that? But Tony speaks up, informing everyone that he does have a plan, and Carol remarks that it's about time. I know Tony is a super genius, but that doesn't change the fact that Carol's history and skills being in the military should have allowed her to take charge of this situation. Marvel forced Carol into the role of their flagship character, yet they don't seem to understand how to properly write her. She's acting like a real amateur. Anyway, Carol brings the clones of Captain America and Hawkeye to Vox. He's not happy that she brought Clint, saying that he doesn't have any powers, but she explains that Ghost Rider is in hell and isn't going to be easy to get to. Also, he doesn't have powers either, and neither does Tony. And she has a point. If it's powers he's after, he probably should have gone after the X-Men or the Inhumans instead of the Avengers. Although I don't know much about this character's history, maybe he has in the past. He suddenly smacks her across the room, so she charges at him, but he stops her in her tracks, reminding her that he controls her suit. Or they, since apparently there's two of them. I guess she forgot about the suit. He also notices that she lost her helmet, so he makes the suit ooze around her head and silences her. He then straps her to a giant machine along with the clones. They also monologue their evil plan. Apparently they're going to try to mix the DNA of the Avengers with the Kree so they can create a new master race. So now Captain Marvel is at the mercy of Vox Supreme, and unless she has something up her sleeve, she's probably gonna have to rely on Tony to save her. I'm sure they've already set something in motion though, but it is Tony's plan, so I guess it is up to Tony to save the day. But that's where the comic ends. They also released the cover for the next issue, and it portrays Carol holding Thor's hammer, Captain America's shield, and she has a piece of Iron Man's armor. So I guess she gets all the Avengers' abilities and powers, but she hasn't earned anything. She isn't worthy to wield Thor's hammer. All she did was beat up and imprison her friends, put everything on Tony to figure out, and kept making excuses. Even though Singularity is friendly, they're still imprisoned there. Not cool. Plus, according to Marvel, she's already considered the most powerful hero. Does she really need all the Avengers' powers? This is also annoying. Marvel's marketing was pretty weird. They marketed this arc like Carol was gonna kill all the Avengers, and now they're marketing her like she's getting all their powers. So it makes it look like she killed all the Avengers and took their powers. Kind of a weird way to market the character who's supposed to be Earth's mightiest hero. I didn't care for her trying out a possibly deadly move on Jen, but it's not that surprising for Carol. She was even worried she would have permanent damage when they got back to Singularity. What if it had caused serious damage? She probably would have passed that problem on to Tony. That tends to be her go-to solution. I just wish we got to see Carol make better decisions. But that's our thoughts. What did you guys think? If you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone. Bye guys.